Hi, sixth grade. Good to see you. All right, let's get started. So, let's learn about dot plots and how to represent data on dot plots. So, look at this example. The number of text messages sent by some students one day is as follows. Represent the data on a dot plot. Okay, so let's see. So, some students send 12, some students sent 11, another student sent 10, another student sent 15. I guess all of these represent, so one of these represents one student and how many he or she sent text messages, the number of text messages he or she sent. Okay, so there's a total of, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 students. Um, and the number of text messages spans from 10 to 15 messages a day. So we gotta draw a dot plot. And to start drawing a dot plot, we have to draw a number line. And we're gonna start our number line from the least amount of text messages, and we're gonna end our number line at the most amount of text messages. So it's between 10 to 15. And you're going to make sure you have equal spacing in between um, the numbers between 10 to 15. Okay, so 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now, how many students sent 10 text messages? Let's see, only one. So you're going to draw a dot above the 10. How many students sent 11? There's 1, 2, 3. 3 students sent 11. So you're going to draw 3 dots on top of 11. How many students sent 12? 1, 2, 3. 3 students for 12. How about 13? 1. What about 14? There's no students who sent 14, so we're going to leave that empty. What about 15? Just 1. So your dot plot should look like this. Okay? And whenever you draw a dot plot, make sure the first dot you draw on top of the number line, you see how if I draw an imaginary line with my mouse arrow, it looks like it's completely straight. So you want to make sure that it's straight like that, okay? And then the second set of dots that you draw should be straight if you draw a line that connects, okay? That way it's easy for us to see the data as organized. Because if you kind of just draw one dot here and then you drew this one dot like way up here, right? It's hard for us to see the data as organized. Okay, so make sure you look out for that. And to be even more detailed, it'd be great if you could label your horizontal axes here, okay? And this label describes the numbers on your number line here, okay? We're not talking about the actual dots. The actual dot represents one student, okay, in this scenario here, but the label of this horizontal axis refers to the numbers here, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, which talks about the number of text messages sent. Okay, all right. Here's another example. So Eugenia tossed a number cube, numbered 1 to 6, 20 times. She recorded the number in the table below. Express the data on a dot plot. Okay. So I'm guessing it says a number cube. I wonder if they're talking about a dice or a die. So, you know, it, I guess faced up to the side 1 2 times. It faced up to the side 2 3 times. It faced up to the side 3 6 times. It faced up side 4 1 time. It faced up to side 5 5 times. And it faced up on side 6 3 times. Okay, remember this bottom row here in this table refers to the frequency, how many times that data appears. So let's draw a number line. Okay, to draw a number line, first I need to draw a horizontal number line, and I have to show the number of the side of the cube. Okay, so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, like so. And I'm labeling my horizontal axes, and these numbers refer to the number tossed on a number cube. numbers tossed on a number cube. I think that just means numbers that were appeared after she tossed the number cube. Okay, so let's take a look. Okay, so here, okay, so yeah, we see number one. There's two, right? And for number two, there's 1, 2, 3. For 3, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. For 4, according to the table, there's 1. For 5, there's 5. For 6, there's 3. And all these dots should equal 20 because she tossed the cube 20 times. So let's make sure it does. So 2 plus 3 is 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that works out. Okay, now it's your turn. Please pause the video and represent each set of data with a dot plot. Don't forget to title your dot plot. Okay, see you soon. Hi. Alright, so number one, you want to label your number line between 0 to 6, okay? And they tell you the number of students here, okay? So it should look something like this. Okay? Let me just see if I should make my video screen a tad bigger, if this is too small for you guys to see. Okay? So it should look something like this, okay? You can pause the video if you need to. Alright, and then for number two, so you're going to, on your number line, you're going to write numbers between 150 through 155. And you're going to draw dots here, accordingly here. Okay? Each dot represents one student. Okay? And so it should look something like this. Right? You got this. Okay. Now the next part is we're going to identify the shape of a set of data on the dot plot. Okay? So let's look at these dot plots. Okay? So here's one dot plot, here's another dot plot, and here's another dot plot. The group of dots actually make a different shape between these three. Okay? So if you look here at this one, okay, notice the dots here. Most of them congregate towards the center, don't they? Okay, and when they do that, it's called symmetrical. The shape is symmetrical. Okay, look at this one. It doesn't seem like most congregate at the center. It looks like a lot of them congregate here, but then it kind of what's the word? Like gets less and less and less on the left side, doesn't it? Right? Kind of almost looks like a tail here on the left side. So when we see a tail on the left side, the shape is called left skewed. Okay? What about here? Again, most of the data is not just centered in here, right? In the middle of the range between 2 to 7. Okay? It looks like, again, there's like a tail here on the right side. Okay, do you see kind of like a slight tail here on the right side? Okay, and so when there's a tail on the right side, we call the shape is right skewed. Yeah. Okay. And so the shape of a dot plot can either be symmetrical or skewed, right skewed or left skewed, depending on which side the tail is on. Now let's interpret data from looking at dot plots. Look at this example. The money in dollars that 15 students earned by babysitting in 1 week is shown in the dot plot on the right. Briefly describe the distribution of the earnings of the students. So distribution means just describes the spread of the data that you see. Okay. So first of all, is the dot plot symmetrical, left skewed, or right skewed? Well, looks like So between the lowest and highest, so 17 and 24, like middle looks like 20, and it looks like it could be symmetrical, right? It could be um, symmetrical um, because most of the data is in the center, right? And so it's symmetrical, and it looks like a lot of the data falls between 19 through $21. And the range of the data is when we take the greatest and we subtract the lowest. And so in this case, it's 24 minus 17, which is $7. And so from these characteristics, we can see that typically babysitters earn between $19 to $21 each week, okay, typically. But their earnings can range from $17 to $24. Maybe you get $24 an hour if you're really experienced. Okay, last example, I promise. Okay, so look at this dot plot. The number of movies that 12 students saw last month is shown in the dot plot on the right. Briefly describe the number of movies seen by the students. Alright, so is this dot plot symmetrical, left skewed, or right skewed? Well, it looks like I kind of see a tail on the right side of the data. So I would say the data is right skewed. Okay? And it looks like a lot of the data falls between 4 and 5 movies because I see in 4 there's 1, 2, 3, 4 students who saw it. 5 movies, there's 1, 2, 3 students who saw 5 movies. Okay, so most of the data falls between 4 and 5. But what's the range of the data? Well, we're going to take the greatest amount of movies, which is 8, right? Because there's a dot above 8. Okay, so that's the greatest. There's no dot above 9, so I can't say that's the greatest amount. Okay, and then what's the lowest? It's 3 movies here because there's a dot above 3. So we have to do 8 minus 3, which is 5 movies. And from the data, we can know that the students saw about 4 to 5 movies last month, but all of them saw between 3 to 8 movies a month. Alright, now it's your turn. I'm just going to minimize my video screen so you guys can do this on your own, okay? And pause the video and give it a try. Hi again, welcome back. So let's look at the first one. Okay? And the first one says, the weekly savings in dollars of 10 students in a class are shown in this dot plot. Briefly describe the distribution of the weekly savings. Okay, so for number 3, does the dot plot look symmetrical, left skewed, or right skewed? Well, to me, I see that it looks like there's a tail on the left, okay? Because it gets pretty small, then a little bit larger, 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 and then sharply small. You see that the amount of students that get 5 is drastically changes to just 1, from 1, 2, 3, 4 to 1. Okay, so it looks like there's a tail on the left side. Okay? So I would call this dot plot left skewed. Okay? And the range is greatest minus the least, and the greatest amount is $5. The lowest amount is $1, and then so that's about $4. Okay? And what can we say here? Well, from that data, it looks like the students saved about $4 per week, and all of them saved between $1 to $5 per week, okay, which is the range of the data, right? $1 to 5. Okay? But most of the students saved about $4. Okay? All right. Let's look at number 4, and I'm just going to move my video screen. Okay. So number 4 says the amount of points, the number of points scored by 12 members of a volleyball team in a game is shown in the dot plot. Briefly describe the number of points scored by the group of players. So is that dot plot symmetrical, left skewed, or right skewed? Well, I kind of see a tail on the right side. Do you see that? How there's like a tail kind of gets lower and lower and lower on this side, on the right side. Okay, so I would say that this is right skewed. Okay. And then the range, we're going to take the greatest amount, which is 5, and subtract the lowest amount, which is 0. So this is about 5 points is the range. Okay. And so from this data, I can see that, well, most of the players, and I know it's most because look at number 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay, which has the highest number of players, okay? Most of the players scored 1 point in the game. All of them, which describes the range, scored between 0 to 5 points in the game. All right, you guys are doing well. Okay, well, that's all for today. I will see you on Thursday. Please bring any questions you have, okay? Bye.